What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cut to the Chase. I have a cool knife to show you guys today that comes with a one-off warning on it. That is going to be the CIVIVI Chevalier, or Chevalier if we want to pronounce it like that. This is CIVIVI's newest button lock. I sprung for the extra $5 and got the one in the cabochon wood, which is, I believe, how it's pronounced. The standard one comes in at about 69 bucks, and I think that's for black G10. There are color options. This one was around 74. I wanted to pay the extra $5 for the wood scales because the first time I didn't even know this thing existed. And then on my Instagram feed, one of the knife guys I follow, Metal Complex, obviously everyone knows who he is. Awesome guy, good channel. He had just a little story where he had this one with the wood handle. And the next thing I knew, I was getting a confirmation email from Blade HQ. I don't even remember going there and buying it. Reason I like this so much, the wood scales look great, but I love the overall profile of the knife. So I don't like talking about specs too much just because it's something that, anyone can look up and regurgitate, but I know a lot of people want to know that. So just some of the basic specs. It's a hair under 8 inches overall when it's open. Has a 3.5-inch blade with just under a 3.4-inch cutting edge. So that's really cool. The cutting edge runs way back there, so you have a lot of good utility area there. The blade on this is a flat ground stone-washed sheep's foot blade, which I think looks really nice. It's not picking it up on camera though too well. You can kind of see it. It looks a little darker right in here, and that's not something on the blade. That's kind of a messed up spot on the finish, so I did notice that, but it's a budget knife, so whatever. The blade itself is in 14C28N, so it's not like a super steel or anything, but it's a really good budget steel. It performs surprisingly well at a lower price point. Let's run through some size comparisons really quick. So the closest thing I can compare it to is the CIVIVI Conspirator, which was the last button lock that CIVIVI put out and my last video. They're almost the same size. Obviously, the Chevalier is a lot thinner. It has a lighter profile. And I will say the knives, I didn't think the Conspirator felt super heavy, but this guy feels very light. Apparently, this is just that much over 3 ounces. And when I took it out of the box, I was really surprised. I picked it up in the front. I just kind of shook it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really light. I enjoy that." We can put this up against the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Obviously, a very different knife, but a little bigger. We have. Let's go ahead and swap this guy out. This is my wife's Delica. So definitely bigger than the Delica. And then we could also take a look at my 940 variant. This is the Benchmade 940-1701, which was a Going Gear exclusive a few years ago, although I think they still have it. And it's fairly similar in size, actually. And even kind of edge area seems very similar. It's actually the first time I've compared those. That's pretty neat. All right, so let's clear this off. And let's just talk more about the knife. So, like all CIVIVIs, it comes in the white box, information there. Cabochon, anyway, it's their wood handle. It's got the little black zipper pouch inside, the microfiber cloth, the stickers, all the standard stuff, which I still like. CIVIVI, I think, for the money, gives you quite a bit. So, let's just do some pros and cons. Pros of this knife, the looks overall. The sheep's foot blade shape, the stonewash finish on it, the wood scales are all very attractive. And honestly, I feel like the price is attractive too. 74 for this guy, 69 for the standard G10 handles. For what you're getting as far as utility goes, I think that's a great deal. I used this for a little over a week because I always want to use a knife a little bit before I bring it to you guys. Mostly opening some Amazon packages, using it, excuse me, using it at work, things like that. Nothing heavy or abusive, and it did really well. The edge on this is still super sharp. It was a nice edge from the factory, so no big deal there. Now for the cons, and for quite a while I didn't think there were going to be any. I was expecting to just vomit praise all over this thing. But here's my story. So last night I've had this knife just kind of chilling in the office here for a few days because I knew I was going to do a video on it, so I just wanted to kind of get everything set up. I came in here last night and I said, yeah, I haven't flipped this in a couple days. Let's go ahead and flip it. The flipper tab just would not push no matter what I did. I finally had to just really kind of force fuck it and press it. And when it snapped open, it didn't lock up. It just bounced and started hanging there. So I said, maybe I did it too hard. Pulled it up, wouldn't lock in place. Couldn't figure it out. The detent just disappeared. It could shake loose. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and put in some inset footage right here because as soon as that happened, I shot it because I was really annoyed and I wanted you guys to see it. So we'll take a look at that real quick. Well, nuts to me, right? The buttons broke. The detent won't engage. And the blade just flops loose. This is after I went to flip it and it was incredibly tight, would barely move, and then finally slammed out. And now, who the fuck knows? So I figured, let me see if I can fix it first, since this is a budget knife. You know, if I fuck it up, that's on me. Got it apart, looked at all the pieces. It's actually a fairly simple knife to disassemble, I guess. That would be another one in the pros. Everything is T8, which is nice. All I had to do was remove the pivot screw and these two body screws back here, and the whole knife just came apart. I didn't even have to take off the clip or anything. I didn't have to mess with these screws at all. That was nice. So I looked at the plunger. The spring that's in there wasn't bent. The only thing I can think of is that my particular knife wasn't milled just right for the button because it feels like it's grinding and getting stuck up in there. But after taking it apart, cleaning it, putting everything back together, it's back to functionality. But I will say this thing had a light detent, a lot like the Conspirator did, so almost no pressure, but you could feel that it was locked in there. Now it feels like some of my other knives that aren't push buttons and have like really hefty detents. I have to push really hard to get that to spring out, and you can actually see there how hard I had to push. The button, it does appear to be working again, but it is still gritty and kind of sticky, even though I cleaned it up. I put, some oil in there. So on that, I don't know. It's functional, but it's not like it was for the first week and a half that I had it. And I have no idea what caused that problem to happen. Because like I said, it was light use, hadn't been abused. When I put it in here, it was fine. So something in just me setting it lightly down on my desk apparently caused a catastrophic failure. So all that being said, if I could go back 2 weeks, would I buy this again? Yes, maybe I would have waited a couple hours and placed my order and hoped I got a different actual unit than this one. But I think CIVIVI really hit a home run with the design and price of this knife. There have been very few times where I've taken a budget knife out of a box and just kind of sat there for a second like, wow, I really can't believe how much I like this. Like, really good point of balance right here. It's light. It has a good cutting edge. Mine just had a problem. So I would say, should you buy it? Absolutely, in whatever flavor and variant you like. I just had a problem with it. So if it happens again, I'll send it back to CIVIVI and I might do an update on it later because I think this is going to be a big hit. But there you go, guys. I appreciate you watching, sticking with me. More content to come, so anybody who's not subscribed, please feel free to do that if you would like. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.